going round and round. Got the wheels on the bus going round and round. Ooh, yeah, wheels going round and round, yeah. And we rolling through your town, yeah. Hey, round and round and round and round and round, yeah. Hey, round and round and round and round and round, round and round and round and round and round, yeah.
What's good, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Big Ugly Sports Show, brought to you by the Bank of Dudley. Dudley. We are your first and your only source for mediocre, below average sports coverage. We glad you joining with us today. My name is Chill. Let's meet the rest of the gang in here with us this morning.
Did you unmute us?
Yeah, you can hear yourself. The guy to my right, he looks like chewed up bubblegum with his shirt off. Nobody dries out a brisket like him. He loves his blow dryer. The bus crew are his only friends. His head is small, but his face is fat. Put your hands together for Matt Opie Hightower.
Yeah, I get the energy up and then get ready for Law to crash it back down.
I got it.
No, it's not me crashing it. It's this song that he has for me.
I'll give you Jay's. I mean, why not? Why not give him Jay's?
He don't even go. That's
like
way better.
I like the flute.
Well, I got harassed about that last week, so. Over here, he had a cup of coffee in the Marines. They call him short story long. He survives daily off of 5-hour energy shots. 0% research, 100% passion. He is a war eagle for life. Get on your feet for the bear. Mitch Lawhorn.
Good morning, fellas. Good morning.
Hey, guys.
I do that. Hi, guys.
I can't tell if I can see Chill's breath or he's spitting a lot. What he talking
Well, I
about?
get excited anymore. It's probably some spit, probably a little bit of both.
Probably icicles coming out of his mouth.
50-50.
It's so cold.
But before we lose Facebook, we are Facebook Live right now. And I know I promised last week the internet would be up and running and we would go live the whole time. However, you know, I guess that's on me. They came out last week and they plowed the line out here. So I just assumed that meant, hey, internet up and ready to roll. Well, they hadn't wired it yet. So I called yesterday to Progressive. And I was Christopher intern Jay Bridges, right, and asked them about it, and they said that they were coming today, weather permitting, to wire it up. So we're going to cut out. We could cut out in 2 minutes. We could cut out in 20. Who knows? But Facebook people, stay with us. I promise. Next week we're going to be back.
Your word don't mean a lot right now.
It's lost credibility, hasn't it? But stay with us.
Jay's first name's Christopher.
Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like a Christopher.
Like a fat Christopher.
I think like Winnie the Pooh, Christopher.
That's a good one.
Not the boy, like Winnie the Pooh.
Built like Winnie the Pooh, but he's got the boy's name.
We call in wrestling when you Winnie the Pooh, means you just wear the shirt, and you don't wear any bottoms. Mm-hmm. With our wrestling singlets, I tell my guys all the time.
What do you mean no bottoms?
Just the wrestling
no
singlet.
shorts.
No shorts.
Oh, okay.
Just wrestling singlet down on bottom.
Yeah,
we call it Winnie. You know the guy's real fishy if he's walking around like Winnie the Pooh.
Wanting to wear those tight britches.
Oh yeah, he just
outside of the match.
When I wrestled at East Lawrence, we had these shorts that were, I don't know why they ordered them. They were about that long.
That's the style.
Oh.
And
Ghost.
We almost lost the jersey.
We would have to pull them down as far as you could go, still be covered by your shirt.
What's the style? That's the style now.
That was not the style then. It was not the style then.
Today, they want them as short as they can get them today.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how the kids are. So
Peyton won't wear them. If they come up, or if they go to his knees, my son won't wear them. He'll roll them all the way up so they come they're jacked all the way up there.
Yeah, so backward from when we were in school.
Oh, yeah.
But make sure wherever you're listening at us, listen to us at, make sure you're subscribed. We're up to 270 on YouTube, so slowly climbing. But wherever you're listening, hit that subscribe button for us. Give us some comments. I saw a couple of comments last week, so we got 2 people joining us live right now. Hey, it's early.
We're spinning.
Oh, we're spinning. Reconnect. Yep, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. So
get that intro in while you can, though.
Next week, and I got the notice out about Facebook, so we'll be back next week. But moving on, did y'all watch any of the Grammys? I know we didn't really talk about this off air, but did you get anything?
No, I'm not a Grammy fan.
Okay. Well, I just
was that yesterday?
Sunday, and Shelby watched the red carpet. Like, she wanted to see what everybody was wearing, all into that, and I'm not gonna get political or anything, but you know, the person hosting it. Girl, boy.
Is that the one that that Will Smith slapped the guy last year? Was that Grammys or Oscars?
I think that was Oscars. Yes, Oscars. Mm-hmm. So this was Grammys. But the reason I asked is I didn't know if y'all had seen any good performances, but I happened to catch the Tracy Chapman and Luke Combs. Mm-hmm. Man,
I love Tracy Chapman.
and they sang together. It was very, very good.
I bet
So
it is good.
okay, good comment. Good
I'll have to go
comment
back and
there.
watch it.
Yeah.
I'll go back and watch it.
Well, good luck because I've YouTube to try to watch it again, and you can't get the whole clip. But anyhow,
Years ago, Haley got a T-shirt made after it. Was it Chris Stapleton and Justin Timberlake sang? I might have been on the Grammys, and you could only get it on YouTube. Like they only did it on in the Grammys. So Haley had a shirt for president. It said Stapleton Timberlake for president.
Hey, speaking of Haley. Hey, Height complained about getting some food in the morning. Haley finally comes through. Height not with us this morning. They're in the process of moving houses, so he wasn't able to join us. But man, did she deliver this morning?
I
Wow.
appreciate him complaining
Delicious.
about not having
And
food.
by the way, babe, the cinnamon rolls with
Amazing.
the sausage. That's it.
Yeah, next time, can we do all cinnamon roll with sausage?
Oh,
I like a mixture.
Do you?
this mug woke up with me this morning. She asked me when she got home. She worked last night, so she asked me when she got home. She said, "What time are you getting up in the morning?" I said, "Why? You're not getting up at 4." And I knew she was going to the store, but I figured she was going to cook it the night before. What she said, she was going to. I thought she was just going to warm it up or something.
I thought so
But she
too.
didn't.
And I pulled the first one out, still warm and toasty.
They're delicious.
They are good.
Let me mute that mic because I heard him a while ago mashing that thing in the mic. So yeah, thank you for that. But anyhow, Rick and Bubba. I know I talked to you. You don't listen to Rick and Bubba. You listen to Rick and Bubba.
Oh, I like Rick and Bubba.
So they're ending this year, December. They're retiring after 30 years on the radio. So the reason I bring that up is like somebody like me that listens every morning to Rick and Bubba on the way to work. There's going to be a void.
Just feeling lost.
There's going to be a void that needs to be filled.
Ooh, and we're going to make it big time? Are we finna go big time?
We got to start little time for it.
Do we got to move? Do we got to move out of the silo to do that? The grain silo?
We can't live stream good enough to go, but man, if only we were able, if only our jobs didn't require us to work, if only we could go every morning for
I
a few
told you
hours.
I was willing to give it all up for the podcast. I was willing to give it all up for the podcast.
Oh man, that would have been great. So, did y'all watch any of the Pro Bowl? Any Pro Bowl action?
No.
Okay.
No, I did not.
still do that?
Well, I was talking to you yesterday.
I
at
was
school
told
about
it was a darn flag football game.
It is.
I did a bunch of. I watched some of
No,
the
I'm not
skill
watching play
competitions.
football.
I watched where the guy caught like 8 balls, 8 punts.
So
all at one time.
my
I
question.
watched the Senior Bowl, and McConkey just lit it up.
Yeah, they're talking late first round, early second round.
He was
now.
voted
Yes.
best wide receiver by all the defensive backs on the
Man,
team.
he was smoking them D-backs too.
Man, if only Belichick was
Man.
still in the game, he could get him. But what are y'all's thoughts on the Pro Bowl, the format of it? It's a little different than your All-Star baseball. It's a little different than your All-Star basketball because obviously it's another game of getting hit. So what do you guys think? Should there be a Pro Bowl? How should that look?
I don't really care about the game at all. I like the skills competitions. I like back in the day when they used to do the long throw competitions and you have Dante Culpepper and Brett Favre and all those guys throwing it 90 yards in the air.
I kind of wish they would do it after the season or like preseason, and bring them all together. And the game.
How you going to do
the game's not very,
from the year before?
Yeah, from the year before. But
Bad idea, though.
Terrible.
bad. Well, then after the season, regardless, and
better.
just do the skills competitions
Yeah.
because the game. I mean, it don't matter anyway. I mean, what do you get out of winning that
Yeah.
game? But AFC don't get home field advantage, do they, in the Super Bowl?
No.
I don't think so, no. But
I think that's what we were talking about yesterday. Because like they made the Major League All-Star game. The winner of that game does get home field advantage, right? Or they did for a little
They did
while.
for a while. They
is
don't
it still
anymore.
not like that?
No, and that's stupid. That's really stupid. Because it's basically an exhibition game.
Right.
They did that as a reaction to
To make the game
when
matter.
Bud Selig called the game in a tie.
Well, and I think they had a lot of people opting out of it. A couple of years in a row, there were like All-Stars opting out. Like, I'm not going to play in it. It don't matter. I don't get paid any extra to do it. So they tried to make the game matter. And that way players wouldn't opt out of the game. Well, that didn't last but probably 2 years, or 2 or 3 years. And they went back to the game don't matter again. I like the skills competition, the home run derby.
Yeah, that's what people tune in for. Which baseball, it's fun to watch those guys.
I do enjoy the baseball All-Star
Because
game.
you got starting pitchers that are only going to pitch an inning, so they're ramping it up to 102, 103,
Yep.
showing you what they can do. And then you got big time pitchers versus big time.
I mean,
hitters,
to me, the
football, nobody cares.
The NBA All-Star.
it's
All-Star
watered
week.
down. It's
The
watered
best
down.
All-Star week is
Skills.
the skill stuff. I mean,
Yeah, the
you got
games.
3-point competition.
The game, all they do is nobody plays defense, and they just get out there and dunk. And then for the last 2 minutes of the game, they try to speed up and play a little bit. But before we, excuse me, that's definitely my breath still. I can see it.
Yeah, I can too.
But before we talk about the Super Bowl, did y'all see? And I want to know your thoughts on it too. Where the XFL and the the USFL have combined to form the UFL, which will start this March. So, is that something that will sustain a spring/summer football season? And I guess they're trying to generate some excitement because they're starting. The first game of the new season is the champions from both leagues last year playing each other.
No, I don't think it's going to pick up much momentum. I think it'll have a niche. It'll have a TV contract and people will watch it because
They're on all the major networks.
But
Well, I think what hurts it is Major League Baseball. I mean, if you're a sports fan, I'm going right from football into Major League Baseball. April, we're watching Major League Baseball at my house.
yeah, well, so regular season baseball can get boring too for people who aren't big time fans. But
Right.
I think there's so much to do. I was watching a clip on TikTok the other day, and they were saying the woman was asking, "What are you going to do now that football season's over?" And the guy pulls up a calendar, and he's got every week filled up with something. He's got
March
He's
Madness.
got March Madness. He's
Right
got
into-
Masters. He's got
Every sport.
turkey season. He's got a guy's golf trip, and he's got it lined up every single week for the rest of the year until football season starts again. It's filled up with some kind of sports activity, and I think there's a time for all that stuff, and it hits just right on the calendar.
And ladies, this is when you do your weddings. This would be a great time for you to do weddings.
yeah,
Not
time.
wait till fall and then decide you want to get married.
Yep. So, I couldn't get into it last year. It's just hard for me to try to learn the names of the players playing. You don't recognize a lot of them. There are some, if you see a Georgia kid out there playing, you'll root for them.
I
But
think they need some big name guys to make it click. I went to XFL
but I mean, a
game
big-
when I was in the Marine Corps out in LA. It was pretty. The running back for the LA team was
He hate me?
He hate me. That was on the back of his jersey.
I don't remember that.
That was awesome.
I remember that.
That's when I think the WWE had bought into the XFL.
I think The Rock he's got something to do with this one. I know he was the owner, I think, of the XFL.
That was back when instead of the kickoff, they put the ball in the middle of the field and they started like 20 yards apart and just
Went for it like rugby style. Go get it.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. And obviously, we've got Chiefs 49ers coming up this Sunday. And in honor, I guess, of Pat Mahomes, I've kind of sound like, was it Kermit this morning with my nose all stuffed up? And so I guess shout out to him. But what do you guys, who do you think are going to win? And then we'll talk about some other aspects of that game.
I think the 49ers are the more complete team, but it's really hard to pick against Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I think they are.
They find a way to win.
They do.
They do.
They do. But I'm going to go 49ers with the win. They just
Skill positions.
It's their year. They have Pro Bowlers all over the place. Defensively, offensively, they are good. They are a complete team, and the Chiefs are better than they've been on defense, and they still have their playmakers for another year or two on offense. But I think it's 49ers year, and man, Kyle Shanahan, how close were we to actually having a good coach?
That made me think when people were, because I saw on, I think it was yesterday, where people were sharing the Falcons post from the Super Bowl 28-9 and the post at only 15 minutes left.
Yeah, 28-3. Yeah.
It was 28-9 at this point. Don't do that. But well, they got to 9.
Blew past it.
What would the Falcons? God bless Mitch. Would the Falcons be different now if they had won that Super Bowl? Like, as fans, we'd be happy they won, but would the status of Atlanta's team be different now if they would have won a Super Bowl?
I don't think we still would have gone downhill. We still would have been in salary cap trouble, and we still would have suffered for years. But, man, we'd have that one Super Bowl that we should have. I think more than anything, the Falcons wouldn't be that much different. But Matt Ryan would be very different. He would be seen differently.
Yeah.
What about if Jerry Glanville don't basically forced to trade with Brett Favre? Would the Falcons have been different then?
Oh, no
Hard
question.
to tell. Would Brett Favre have been Brett Favre if he hadn't
That's
been
true. Had he not been
kicked to the
You got to
curb?
feel like he would have been.
He might.
I saw an interview with Brett Favre about how bad Jerry Glanville hated him. Could not stand.
Hey,
Why?
Fun fact.
It wasn't his pick. It wasn't who he wanted.
Yeah.
And they kind of forced him into the pick. And so, like, from day one of, like, camp, he'd come up to him and was like, basically, I don't like you.
Yeah.
You'll never play for me.
He said, aren't you got that kid from Mississippi State? He's like, no. He's like, oh, man, I think we drafted the wrong quarterback.
That's a great answer.
So, hey, fun fact, you might not believe this now, but when I was a freshman in college, a girl told me that I looked just like Brett Favre and invited me to one of those social parties for the sororities, you know.
like a chubby Brett Favre? Or what?
She did not.
What
she did-
aspect of Brett Favre? Like,
An unathletic Brett
You
Favre?
got to think, maybe.
His eyes are squinty.
you must have had your Wranglers on. Is he Wrangler or is he Lee?
I had one of those copper
copper,
elbow
yeah.
That's
bands
why
on.
his wife married him, because he looks like Brett Favre.
It was probably 80 pounds ago.
Maybe a different face. I don't know.
He's more chiseled. Think more a harder
He's an
jaw.
unathletic Brett Favre.
Oh, man. All
She
right.
might have been lying to me.
I think she was definitely
Yeah, 100%.
or she was blind. One of the two.
That's also true. All right, it's time for our commercial break. We got some more Super Bowl talk on the other side of this, so make sure you stay with us, listen to our sponsors, and we will be right back.
New year, new financial goals? Whether it's saving, investing, or planning for the future, we've got your back. Visit Bank of Dudley today and let's make 2024 your year for financial success. Bank with confidence at Bank of Dudley. Since 1905, member FDIC.
This is Brad Meeks, owner of Brian's Giant Subs. Thanks for listening to the Big Ugly Sports Podcast. Come see us today to grab your favorite sub, 1632 Veterans Boulevard in the Oaks Shopping Center, Dublin, Georgia.
J2 Streaming Services. With over 9,000 live channels and packages starting at $15 per month, you literally can't beat it. Visit them on the web at www.j2streaming.com. Proud sponsor of the Big Ugly Sports Show.
For all your HVAC needs, please call Elite Comfort Solutions. We specialize in commercial and residential HVAC. The number is 833-483-HVAC and the website is www.elitecomfortsolutions-inc.com. Call for a free quote today.
Big Peach Car Wash coming this April across from Walmart on Highway 80. I hadn't washed my truck in 5 years. I'm breaking that streak this April.
Welcome back to the Big Ugly Sports Show, brought to you by the Bank of Dudley. Again, we are your first source for mediocre sports coverage, and Bank of Dudley since 1905. Long time. Glad they are one of our sponsors, our title sponsors. So let's go ahead and do our Brian Subs drawing, because I normally forget about that. So we're going to do our Brian Subs drawing so we can make sure that we get that taken care of. Thank you to Brian Subs, Brad Meeks, and the gang over there for continuing to sponsor us each year that we've done this show so far and giving away a half sub each week. So shout out to that. But let's do the drum roll. No?
I was just about to compliment you on having it at the right volume. And then you start turning it up.
Oh, well. It's just because it's loud for you don't mean it's loud for them. And I know you're people of the crowd, but
I'm all
He's
about
a man of
number
the
one.
people.
this week's winner is Joe Coley.
Nice. Shout out to Joe Coley.
So-
Joe Coley and that Dublin Irish wrestling team.
Coley.
By the way, they're hosting sectionals if you want to come out to support some Lawrence County Wrestling. Dublin High School is hosting sectionals.
Joe, a loyal listener of the show, so congratulations, Joe. Go by Brian's and get that half sub. All right, back to the Super Bowl.
Joe Coley and I played football together in high school. He was an intense guy.
He's still intense.
He's still in town.
He was that guy that would come off the field and just start headbutting everybody,
that.
screaming "Let's go" in like the most random time. That didn't necessarily. It's like mid
36-2, you're losing.
mid third quarter, and he's just like, I'm gonna inspire everybody.
I could see Joe as being that.
Big neck roll, you know.
I tell you what Joe does and has done for the last 6 years is loyally around the lights or the spotlight and the lights at Connection Church. So you can count on him for that. But shout out to Joe. All right, With the Super Bowl, y'all have already placed your picks. You said 49ers. Did you make a pick?
I'm a 49er. When I'm not rooting for the Falcons, I'm a 49er fan, but I got a story to go with that. Are we still picking our favorite Super Bowl, best Super Bowl?
We're going to get to that, yep.
All right.
But for
I'll
me,
explain why.
It's hard to bet against the Chiefs. I agree. I just don't feel like they've been that great this year. However, they are in the Super Bowl. But
What's the line?
I think the 49ers were the favorite coming out. I don't know if that changed. But, Brock Purdy, who was Mr. Irrelevant, and each week they win, and he continues to be called a game manager. And so it made me start to think, like, game manager has always had, like, a negative connotation. But what's bad about being a game manager? Someone that manages the game, makes good decisions, and your team wins. Like,
I mean, that's great if your team's good enough to allow a game manager to win the game. But if you're
who?
Plus two.
Kansas City. Plus
Yeah, so the 49ers are
Timely
49ers
comment.
favorite.
But
yeah, I mean, just shoot in from the dart. Don't worry about the rest of the conversation going
No
on.
context.
That's how his mind
No
works,
context.
100%. While we were talking, he heard nothing.
I'm
so
completely
he just,
tuning you out.
yeah.
So, but if you're not a good team, then a game manager's not going to get you there. So you got to have somebody who can be a playmaker.
But he's called a
on
game
that
manager
team-
now.
On that team, he's more than a game manager. He set records on average yards per pass this year in the NFL history ever. So he's more than a game manager. Now, is he a product of Kyle Shanahan's genius? Probably. But who cares? I would take that right now.
I was listening to somebody, I think it might have been Cam Newton the other day. They played a clip of him saying that he's the 10th best player
On the 49ers.
on the 49ers.
Did you hear the clapback? He said, there's 90 starting quarterbacks in the NFL, and you're not one of them.
Did Purdy say that? Yes. Nice.
I love it.
That's big, yeah. Good for him.
That's not game manager speak, right? there. That's-
But then I also heard someone make an argument, and I'm not going to be able to make the argument like they did, but they had you thinking, they were saying Tom Brady was a game manager.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
not the most athletic guy on the field, not running around, making good game managing as far as checking at the line of scrimmage, putting you in the right place, being the smartest guy on offense.
How many games would the Falcons have won if Desmond Ridder doesn't lead the NFL in red zone interceptions?
Horrible.
All
Just
we
manage
needed
the
was
game
a game
right.
manager. All you got to do is not throw it to the other team when we're about to score.
I
and
believe
we're in the playoffs.
Matt Ryan was a good game manager.
Oh, yeah.
He was more than a game manager. I mean, he threw for 5,000 yards.
You put him behind any other offensive line. I mean, he's in the
And Falcons fans, and I have a bunch of them on Facebook that every week when Matt Ryan didn't play well, we're hammering him. I want to be like right now, like,
Dude's
don't you wish you had Matt Ryan
He's
back?
running backwards, throwing.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Ryan was the best quarterback the Falcons ever had. He's a no doubt Hall of Famer to me.
Ever?
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to think of another decent one.
Who was the quarterback in '98? Was that Chandler?
That was Chris Chandler. You had,
Chandler,
you had
Chandler,
Steve
that's right.
Barkowski
Ooh, I like
back
Chandler,
in
too.
the 80s. Michael Vick, if he had studied the playbook, would have been the best ever. But
Yeah,
And not
I
kill,
forgot.
and not
that.
kill dogs.
Yeah, I was only like
Not murdered dogs. Had he not murdered dogs, he would have.
I was only like 10 or 11 when the
ruin your
Falcons
football career.
played in the Super Bowl. But
Man,
I can just remember a lot of excitement.
I used to do the Dirty Bird.
I was
all
in
the
Tijuana.
time.
Tijuana, Mexico.
Were you Dirty Bird that year?
I was Dirty Bird.
Oh, he was Dirty Birding in
That's how he hurt
Tijuana
his
for
back.
sure.
That's how he hurt his back.
I got a big scar right here on my lip from that trip to
The
Tijuana.
bird was
bet
a
you
little
do.
too dirty.
Me and my buddy
He didn't
Brian
hear it.
from
Didn't hear it.
I didn't. Me and my buddy Brian was watching it at a sports restaurant there in Tijuana. So they had a bunch of big screens up, and we were watching the game. He was a big football fan. He was a Baltimore Ravens fan. So we watched when the Baltimore Ravens were in the Super Bowl on ship. My first time overseas, they aired it on the ship live, so we could all watch it there in the squad bay. But so Brian's in Tijuana, and when they started losing, shut up. Dude.
This is a shout out to your service.
So you don't like America? Is that what you're saying?
What you mean?
This is the
song
national anthem.
represents.
I love this.
This is the national
This is like
anthem.
the Oompa Loompa. Have you seen the new Willy Wonka movie?
I
This
have.
is what it reminds me of.
But I just want you to know every time you talk about your time, I just want you to know how much.
Why
we
aren't you
appreciate it.
saluting right now?
I'm not saluting to that.
I know. That's what I'm asking.
Oh, see how I cut him off? That's all I had to do right there in the ending when he starts talking too much. I just
It's
play that
stupid. This stupid song.
All right, so
As Jay would say, that's stupid.
as we're talking Super Bowl, and Opie posed this question this morning. Opie brought a lot of energy this early this morning on his way to work, texting and driving a lot.
I
too.
was faking it.
Nobody.
A lot of text,
I was
though.
very tired.
A lot of texting and driving.
Yeah.
And so you just got to be careful. But
I
we
wouldn't.
care about
I
you because
wasn't.
if you wouldn't have made it, it'd just been me
I
and
pulled
Law.
over.
I got it between the buses. It'll be a short one.
Prove I did.
How about y'all's text? About
Where-
the group message.
Not this guy.
Where, and Opie posed this question, so obviously you thought about it, but where do Andy Reid / Mahomes as a coach-quarterback duo rank in the history of the NFL? And if they win this Super Bowl, how much more, where do they rank? I mean, so who off the top of your head from your people you know or maybe your time playing, who you obviously got Brady Belichick. Who else comes to mind when you think quarterback coach?
You got Bradshaw, Noel. You got the guy. Is it Landry?
Walsh in Montana. Walsh and Young.
Yeah. I said Landry. I meant Walsh and Montana.
San Francisco. Yeah.
Jimmy
He's in
Johnson and Troy Aikman.
Yeah.
And I think that's about where.
So would you say Reid and Mahomes top 10 in NFL history?
Top 5.
Yeah.
He's in
top 10, obviously. Going back though, you got Bart Starr and
Who was
the Packers.
Yeah. Well, that was
Wasn't
the Lombardi. Was it Lombardi?
Lombardi. Yeah.
So I think top 5, top 6. But this next win, if they win again, I think that puts them into the upper echelon, top
above
3 or 4.
Belichick, Brady.
I think no, not above Belichick, Brady. I think they're
Brady.
number 1, and then I think Mahomes, Reid is kind of right behind that. I think Andy Reid is massively underrated and one of the best offensive minds.
He's also massively overweight.
What's that got to do then?
And he looks like a
Why are
walrus.
you body shaming
What?
him?
It makes me feel better
Why are
about
you
my
body
body.
shaming?
It makes me feel better about my body.
Let's get
should.
your BMI
You're not
up here
fat.
and see what happens.
It's better than his.
So what? He's way better at everything else than you are.
He can't outshoot me.
He probably can.
Are you still just salty about your record being broken over there in Tennessee County?
It needed to happen, but now I'm a thing of the
You know
past
what?
over there.
I had no
I thought
idea.
you were already. I thought the guy that went to the NFL broke your record.
No, I broke his.
You broke his record.
I had no idea that
It's
you
hard
had
to
that
believe.
record.
Well, can he finish?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want him to brag on me a little
I
bit.
had no idea that you were that legitimate in high school. I mean,
Well, I try not to brag about it.
I know, but you should let me in on it a little bit so I can.
Well, I had it for 19 years, and now it is broken.
It's hard to believe
I bragged on you.
that
Thank you, bud.
that this has a basketball record. Unless he just sat on one end of the court and just shot, they just threw him out of the
Well, keep in mind, as we all, looking at your belly too, we were all smaller.
Remember how I used to look like Brett
I still
Favre?
look athletic.
We got Brett Favre over here beside us. So you think they rank up there pretty high? I mean, and
Yeah.
with this win,
I mean, and really the era that they're doing it in is impressive also. To do it in the era of free agency that we're in now is very difficult and it's very competitive. I just think Andy Reid, you think about what he's done with the Eagles, you think about what he's doing with the Chiefs, with different every quarterback they had with the Eagles, he made them an all-pro. Nick Foles was an all-pro.
Didn't he? Wasn't he there with McNabb too? Wasn't that was his first year?
McNabb.
That was his first quarterback. Vic was there with him for a little while, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, he has done amazing things with every offense that he's ever worked with.
and it seemed like the players love him.
Plus, great punt, pass, and kick guy as a kid. Have you seen that video of him? He's like 6'4", 270 pounds as an 11-year-old. And he's just, he's got that. He's out there in the helmet with one face mask bar across, just pounding that ball.
That was Chuck. Yeah, that was Chuck at too. It's back when y'all play basketball and still shot on like the peach basket. Y'all didn't have nets. Y'all shot on the baskets.
I need to play your song again.
Boop, boop, boop.
So that also posed another question in the group text, which while we're talking Super Bowl is who is the greatest Super Bowl team or champion or game of all time?
So
As Mitch munches his eyes over
Mitch,
here.
you go ahead. I'm gonna let you have the honors on this one. Man.
I had to look up the number.
Okay, he's not ready.
No, I am ready. It's Super Bowl 23. Let's see if y'all remember who played.
No clue.
And it really has nothing.
Tell us what year it was.
Oh shoot!
We're in 58 now, so
It was in the 80s.
okay. What is? Who you got?
The Chicago Bears.
San Fran Bengals. Second time they played. This is the second
Bernie
time.
Kosar era quarterback.
It was Joe Montana's second Super Bowl against the Bengals. San Fran. Bill Walsh, that same era. And the reason it was my favorite is the first time I really sat down and watched a whole football game in the 80s when I was younger. And it's because me and my brother, Jamie, and we kind of butt heads on about anything. Whatever he picks, I'm going to pick the opposite. So we had a bet. My mom used to wash her clothes, fold her clothes, and then we had to go put them up. That was the worst thing in the world, had to go put clothes up.
I also suffered from that as a child.
So the bet, and this is why I sat and watched the whole game, and I believe the San Fran trailed like the whole game. This is Icky Woods, Icky Shuffle. Jamie had picked the Bengals, so I said, well, all right, I bet you the 49ers are going to win this game. I said, and when I win, you have to put my clothes up for a week. Because my mom washed clothes every day. Well, we trailed the whole game. Jamie's icky shuffling all over the living room, thinking
Love
he's
to
hot
see
crap.
Jamie icky shuffle.
And he was a chubster back then, so it was hilarious. But right at the end of the game, I believe Montana like threads a needle and throws it to he hits
Dwight Clark in the back of the end
was
zone.
it Clark? Yeah, Clark
Is that
in the back
catch?
of the end zone.
Is that the game?
That was it. Then catches it, wins the game. Game's over. Jamie's pissed.
Put them clothes up.
and we had already stacked our first set of clothes in the living room, and I was like, go put them up.
If I know a brother like I think I do, they didn't wind up in the right drawer. Just throw them in there.
All right, before we hear from Opie and myself on our best Super Bowl game, it is time for our last little commercial break. We're going to take a quick one. While we're taking this break, think about who yours is, and feel free to comment to yourself when you hear this.
Bank of Dudley is proud to sponsor the Big Ugly Sports Show. Wherever you're listening to your favorite sports show, you can also be banking with your favorite bank. Bank of Dudley offers mobile and online banking platforms to make managing your money easy. Get on that Bank of Dudley bus. Bank of Dudley since 1905. Member FDIC.
Welcome back to the Big Ugly Sports Show, brought to you by the Dank. I'm struggling with that. It's more than the Dank of Dudley, the Bank of Dudley. We know you were sitting on the edge of your seat during that commercial break because we know you want to hear what OP has to say. So.
I just want to just appreciate Chill and how good he's getting in this radio gig. He's just throwing out cliffhangers. People are scared to death to turn the channel right now because
There's so much
they
sarcasm.
want to
from
hear
this guy.
that time.
They can't wait to hear who my favorite Super Bowl team is.
That's like last week when I told Height, when I think it was last week, I was like, he had a story. I was like, all right, lead us into it, And he said, all right, I'll tell you on the other side of the break. We were like, man, they can't wait to hear what you got to say. I mean, throw out something. Who you got, Ope?
All right, so I really thought about this for a while this morning, and at first I started thinking about the '92 Cowboys. Man, they were so good, and I think in the free agency era, and then I thought the Patriots team that didn't win the Super Bowl against the Giants. I think they probably were the best team. If they had won that game, they would have been the all-time best team.
They were undefeated, right?
Yep, undefeated, first one to ever go 18-0, I think. But then I went back and read a bunch of stats about all these old games, and the 72 Dolphins was the number one offense and the number one defense, and nobody's ever done that before. And they won 9 games with their backup quarterback. Their backup quarterback ended up being an all-pro that year, and then they benched him for the playoffs for Brian Greasy to come back and play for the playoffs. And back then, you rotated who got the AFC Championship home game. So they played Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, even though they were the number one seed, and ended up going to the Super Bowl and winning it. So I think 72 Dolphins, even though they're not my favorite Super Bowl champion, I think they're the best Super Bowl champion.
Wonder who that backup quarterback was. Any idea?
I don't remember.
That'd be
on the bench is what he was.
Yeah, that's tough. So obviously went undefeated while he was playing.
Yeah, went 9-0.
Huh. Well, hey, and Greasy, we trust. Greasy got it done. Either way, they both got a ring. Y'all both dial into your phones real quick, okay? Just leave me sitting here to the camera. I'll just talk to the camera while y'all dial into your phones.
What was yours?
I'm not like a huge historian when it comes to football and all those things, but to me, the game you were talking about with the Patriots and Giants with, quote unquote, the catch by Tyree when it stuck to his helmet, that's got to go down as one of the top ones just because, one, they beat an undefeated Patriots team who was the favorite, and two, I mean, you had all kind of stories. You got Eli Manning, who's Peyton's little brother, and then
See his rap about it?
no, I saw him doing it. I didn't watch it though.
Tom Brady, he said, I beat him twice. He might be the GOAT, but I beat him twice.
So I would say that was a pretty good game for me.
That's number 2. by the
Earl
way.
Morrell.
ESPN ranked all the Super Bowls. That's number 2.
What was one?
Out of their ranking. Super Bowl 13, Steelers versus Cowboys. Steelers beat the Cowboys by 4.
Earl Morrell was the starting quarterback for the Dolphins.
That's where you get team morale from. Shout out to Earl for that, having good morale when the things were tough against him. So, one more thing go ahead.
By the way, them Falcons made the number 4 Super Bowl
From losing
when they lost.
When they went
to the
into
Patriots.
halftime.
Shocker.
And only because they were winning at halftime and
Big.
battled back.
I've never been more certain that we were going to win a game.
Oh, dude, you wouldn't believe.
so upset.
I'll never forget it. I watched it at Connection Church. We had like a Super Bowl party, and I had a kid on my basketball
That is
team.
a tough place to watch a game like that.
Well, I was trying to
I
be a
was
good
at
role
my
model.
brothers, and we were not church going.
And anyhow, I had a kid.
throwing around a lot of hex at church.
Especially after Georgia lost to Alabama in the national championship that same year, too.
So I had a kid that was on my basketball team that I had taken to church with me, and we were watching. And he's a diehard Patriots fan, and dude, I am just giving him the business the whole game. I mean, I'm hammering down on him, and then, boy, I had to get him home in a hurry. I got mad at him for it. He started running that mouth.
Who was it?
Steve Toebridge.
Joe Bridge.
Yep. So, all right. One more thing on the Super Bowl is it is Super Bowl, and at school actually this Friday we're having a Super Bowl party. So one of y'all, I think it was you or Hyatt posed. I think it was you.
It was another
a lot of
one
ideas
I
from
did.
Opie today.
A lot of ideas.
But
I sat
favorite
down with
soup?
I sat down with our marketing girl and
Sure you
said,
did.
"Throw me some ideas."
Sure you did. So what is your favorite soup? Is that where you're going with it?
yeah.
Just real quick. We're not going to spend a lot of time with this. This is not a very good topic.
We're having a
but-
soup. We're having a
I love
soup.
soup.
We're having a soup competition at work Friday, and I will be putting together a Brunswick stew.
That's my favorite.
That's not even soup.
A soup. What's the
If you
difference
serve it
between
in a
Brunswick?
bowl,
It's
to me,
mainly just
That's-
you're eating.
no,
if you serve it
that's
in a
meat.
bowl, it's a soup.
Brunswick stew is vegetable soup with pork in it.
Which sort of.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's too thick for soup.
You don't.
If you
you don't
serve
have
it
any
in a
idea
bowl,
the
it's
consistency of
soup.
my Brunswick stew.
Hope you don't put brisket in there.
It's
Just
gonna be
suck up
dry.
all the stew.
It'll be like paste.
Dude, of all
be based.
of all the things y'all make fun of me about, drying out a brisket makes me the most angry.
Good.
Because it's
Staying
so
in there.
not true. It's so not true.
Oh,
The
Jay
other-
almost took your title last Saturday, but
The other day, the other day, I took a snapshot, a screenshot of a professional food truck's brisket that they had laid out.
And yours looked very
And
similar.
I sent it to, I cropped it out, the logo out, sent it to the group. They are all talking about how dry it is and how terrible it looks. And then I revealed that it's actually a professional brisket. And, oh, you know what? It does look good. Don't you mention it? I like how they sliced it up. It looks good.
they must have got that, as Height said, Jay said, that part that was about that thick. That
Right,
juice.
right in the middle. That's the only part that was good.
So
Right
you
in the
going? Is
middle.
that your go-to? You a Brunswick?
I like the Brunswick stew. I love a good vegetable soup, but
What about you, Law?
Stew means soup, bro.
Okay. What you got,
I'm a-
Ice?
it's got a little magic vibe to it, stew, you know.
I'm a Brunswick stew fan too, but you can't go wrong with chili.
Oh,
chili's
chili's
my
a good one.
favorite.
I thought about chili.
Now, me
Now,
personally,
is chili a
I
soup?
don't like chili with beans in it because it's not really
Thank
chili.
you.
I'm not a bean fan.
Me either.
I love
Now,
love
but
beans.
Shelby made
Haley,
some-
Haley
Shelby
don't
made
put
some.
a lot of beans in hers. My mom puts like a lot of beans. Like she puts the pinto beans. She puts a thing of pork and beans. Like it's just beans galore.
That's-
And you can't
that's
even taste the
wild.
meat. It's just you eating beans. I can't say.
Bean soup.
Chili,
A lot of
chili
legumes.
is meat and chili.
Yeah.
I mean the chili paste and tomato paste and stuff like that. You don't put beans in chili.
Yeah, I'm not a huge bean fan, but Shelby made something the other night that was actually really good, and she was giving me a hard time because I told her it was good because I'm not supposed to like chili. But my favorite by far is, and it's my mom's is at the top,
You look like a split pea soup guy.
crab stew.
Ooh,
I love crab,
crab stew?
Oh
I'll
my
tell you
gosh.
what.
A little
Love
bisque?
crab stew.
Is it a bisque?
Toombs
I don't even know
County,
what
and
that
I
means.
don't know if it's your mom, but for years now, we went to that Toombs tournament. I believe Garnto will agree with me on this. We went to that tournament because there was some she crab soup that they would have in the coaches in the hospitality room. And I don't know if your mom made it.
I don't
but
know if she did or not.
Every year it was not like every one of the coaches was like, "Where's that
That's
soup
good.
at?" I asked the lady at Toombs this year, "Hey, it's Robbie's Wiley.
Yeah, Mid Denise.
Yeah, so I was like, "Where's they soup?" She said, they didn't do it this year." I said, "I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back if we can't."
And so usually for special
Miss Jean's
occasions,
slipping.
It's so good.
for special occasions, my mom will make it. And as I've gotten older, she's made it with real crab. Used to it was the imitation. So Dad, mad every time she makes her real crab because obviously it's way more expensive, but so much better.
In a crock pot, man, it is delish. It's so good.
All right, I've got we're going to switch gears. We spent a lot on Super Bowl there, but I've got a couple of trivia.
Just a shout out to, I like oyster stew.
You've already had your chance.
But I just thought about it. After you
what
said
else do you
crab,
like, Law?
I like
Chill.
oyster stew.
Let's name all the soups we like.
What else do you like?
No, I'm a big fan of oyster stew.
I like, if you think about it, cereal is kind of a stew. I like cereal.
If you serve it in a bowl as a soup, man, I love cereal. I'm a cereal.
If that's true.
If it's served in a bowl, I feel
Ice cream
Ice
in
cream.
a bowl.
But you eat it in a cone too. I can't eat soup in a cone.
A lot of times I eat salad in a bowl. That doesn't make it a soup.
Okay, we beat this horse pretty dead now. So let's transition on. I've got a couple of trivia questions for y'all, baseball related, and so I want y'all to see if you can name the 5 Major League Baseball teams that have never won a World Series. Name the 5 that have 0 World Series titles.
Brewers.
Brewers is 1.
Tampa Bay Rays.
2.
Seattle Mariners.
Padres.
Mariners is 3.
Padres.
Padres is 4. Man, one more. Y'all doing it on fire. Thought this trivia would be a little harder.
That 5th one, though. That 5th one.
The people that were trying to think of their call right now
Whoever said Orioles.
have heard him just absolutely gum down that pig in the blanket, so they probably lost their train of thought.
It was delicious.
Not the Orioles. The Orioles have 3.
Ooh, yeah, they're old.
National
They don't
League.
really count.
National League team.
National League.
Love
It's a
this-
new National League team. Expansion team.
No, really, no. All right, so let's go through the divisions if we're going to do. You know what? Why don't you just tell us?
The division?
Don't
or the
tell
team?
us. Don't tell
I mean,
us.
we can
All
drag
right,
this out.
NL West.
In the West.
So you got Diamondbacks,
I already said the Padres.
Padres, Dodgers.
2 more teams in it.
Yep. Padres, Dodgers,
Man.
Giants.
Giants.
There's one more.
Not them though.
I can't even think of
I
the
can't
West
think
team. Colorado Rockies.
Tap the Rockies. Colorado Rockies.
Rockies.
That's the other one. And I'll save the other trivia because
That's an expansion team. Colorado Rockies is an
Well, I don't
expansion
know.
team.
Yeah, 25 years ago,
It's still an expansion.
them and the Marlins just came in, huh?
Yeah. Both expansion teams.
There's been
were
expansion
included.
teams since then.
I mean,
Hey,
yeah, but
at
they
some
still
time-
were an expansion.
At some time, they were all expansion teams.
one point.
Okay, here we go. Nitpick what I said. They're still an expansion team.
Is it nitpicking or just correcting you?
They came in. They were an expansion team when I was in high school, I believe.
All right. Good job, Mitch.
Clown.
Y'all did
In the
a
90s.
lot better than I thought. And I've got
25 years ago, though.
I've got one
Yeah, but
more.
more.
I've got one more that I'm gonna wait till the whole crew's here to give us a little more guesses. But I did
Yum.
3 apps on your phone. Okay, this is a question for you. Any 3 apps, but you only get 3 apps. What are they?
Well, phone call, text messages.
Is text one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You backed me into a corner with the first 2. I really need my
I don't
phone
like the
to
phone.
do those.
I
two
don't
things.
need the phone.
But I mean,
because personally,
you
I'm
don't
not
think-
going to answer a phone call. I just want my text
I
message.
need it for work a lot.
Well, then I think you could do without a text. Then just call.
Speaking of that, if you
I
watch
can't
the
do that
show
with
and
it.
you're a phone call person and you need to get in touch with me, text me because I'm not going to answer your phone call.
You don't really answer
Nor
text
does
messages
anybody
either.
care that's listening to you say that. Nobody
Absolutely.
watching
Between
us
my-
is going to reach out to
Nobody's
you.
calling you.
Between the buses says, some of us work. I don't know what y'all do for a job. I want your job where I can sit around and text all day. I know what you do for a job, and I don't understand how you're in this text message every 5
Because I manage my time well.
No, not manage your time well.
He didn't expect you to say that.
I'm teaching.
Stopped him in his tracks.
So I'm in the middle of teaching, and I was like, hold on, class. I need to text Big Ugly Sports guys because they're talking about some stupid crap.
I didn't realize you worked
Law.
till 9 o'clock at night.
How long were you
That's
awake?
right when you
Well, I
respond.
have wrestling until 5.
If you were awake 14 hours yesterday, you sent one text message.
I sent it this morning.
No, you hearted something. He
So
hearted.
there's some in between there between.
The spring, if y'all haven't looked up the spring training hat for the Braves,
Deece.
I love it. I love it. I
Too red, too much red.
Me and Howard will be sporting that. He'll order me one.
I can't wait to see you wear it backwards too. You can wear it backwards, Phil, and be feeling yourself.
No, I'm gonna have that mug on back. I was a catcher, man. I always wore my hat backwards.
That's why I wear it backwards.
That's why I always wore my hat backwards.
I'm so thankful Haley made these pigs in a blanket, and now I'm not thankful that Haley made these.
I'm gonna
pigs
tell you
in a
what them mugs are right now. Cold.
Yeah, they
done froze over.
Yeah, it's cold.
Well,
in here.
chase it down with a little ice right there. Because, I mean,
I'm out of my drink.
For 30 minutes
we're about to end the show because I'm out of my drink.
For 30 minutes of this show, people have listened to you chew ice and gum down.
I'll tell you what they are.
Smack.
They're wishing they had some of these pigs in the blanket.
I agree with that. They are.
And some of this drink from Friendly Gusts.
So 3 apps. You name 2.
Our new sponsor, Friendly Gusts.
I'm gonna go Maps, even though I really want to go TikTok. But
Maps.
I'm gonna have to go Maps. I have a terrible sense of direction, and I need to be able to get where I'm going. So
Sorry about that.
Very utilitarian of me to go those 3 apps. It's not fun. But
I think I should have worded it differently. I think the idea should have
Yeah,
been
you
like,
probably should have.
well, I think the idea is I'm on an island and all I have is 3 apps. Not like I can make do with everything
Well, if
I've
it's
got
a
around
small
me.
island, I don't need the maps. Then I go TikTok.
TikTok.
I was talking to a guy yesterday, and
Since you're that big into TikTok, why don't you get us a TikTok page? Like, I don't get that.
no, I like watching other people's TikToks.
I do. I only have two TikToks, and one of them was Haley. I recorded Haley.
Yeah, I've never posted anything.
But what better time than to throw us out there? Because
yeah.
as I said earlier, there's a void in the whole South of the United States that needs to be filled that Rick and Bubba have filled for 30 years, and it needs to be us.
I don't believe Rick and Bubba made TikTok.
Well, send me the clips, and I'll figure it out.
What you think? They're making TikTok?
No, they don't need to. Could y'all, if push come to shove, okay, push to shove,
Push and shove. Yeah.
and we had a chance, unpaid at the beginning, and you never know, it could turn into no money, it could turn into money, unpaid, which this will be harder for you, but to do the show 5 mornings a week, Monday through Friday, the same thing we do right now, 1 hour or 45, however long we do it, for 5 days. To run.
And that's all I did?
No, I'm talking about right
In
now.
addition to your job, I don't think I could do it. I can't do it.
Is the travel the issue for you, or is it?
That's a big one. Yeah, I could probably do it. Other than that,
I can do it. I can tell you, Tuesdays are one of my Tuesdays, and of course Fridays are 2 of my favorite mornings to get up. And
That's crazy you miss so much,
That's not true. I don't really miss that much.
if it's your favorite, you must really hate the other days of the week.
Dude hates Monday.
I'm not. I told Dennis Howell yesterday he'd come to fix my printer for the 18th billionth time. I don't know how he keeps messing up, but regardless, I told him yesterday. I said, I'm like Garfield, man. Everything tears up on Monday. I hate a Monday.
So I was thinking to myself as I was driving, it's like I'm gonna ask that question. I get Opie might would say no because but I felt like everybody else was gonna say no too. And meanwhile, I would say yes, and I'm the one, not the toot my horn. I'm the one that does everything other than sit here and talk.
Not to toot my own horn, but I'm going to toot it. Beep beep. Come on.
Well, I'm just stating if that's a fact.
Everything. I brought breakfast.
the other
Haley cooked breakfast.
the other
I
guys
brought all the show ideas.
the other guys that know anything but show up and talk would be the ones. Man, I ain't gonna better make that. What did you hook your mic up this morning? Did you set anything up? No, you came in on 2 wheels, bringing breakfast, and we're trying to start the show at 5:30, and you got to get out there between the buses and burn one down.
Haley, next week, me and you'll just eat the breakfast.
I also brought breakfast, but Law won up me.
Yeah, those weak
Next week, those are going to be good.
Donuts right going to be real good. They'll stay fresh in this
One of them
refrigerator.
donuts got all the chocolate like taken off of it somehow in the bag too. They're rough.
They'll stay fresh in this refrigerator. Which is right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, Opie, bring us home, buddy.
All right, look us up on in the
Talk to
future
them.
TikTok. In the future TikTok, look us up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Give us a like and subscribe. Get more buzz in your life.
Yep.
Hey, not to toot my own horn, but I showed up this morning.
Good job, Locke. Hey, visit thebiguglysportshow.com for all of our episodes and anything else you need. We're still in the process of working on getting a new T-shirt out, so be on the lookout for that. Facebook Live, I promise you, we coming next week, so make sure you tune in for that. We love you. Thank you for your support. Wherever you're at today, whatever you're doing, get on that bus.
Empty promises.
And they swishing. Yeah, they swishing.